Good morning, everyone. I'm Zach Boehm. I'm the Vice President of Innovative Systems for AHS, an integrator for Exotec Skypod System. Go ahead and introduce the rest of the team.
Josiah Gruden with Ariat, Senior Manager Building Ops.
I am Matt Artenberg, Vice President of Distribution for Ariat International.
I'm John Jackson, Account Executive with Exotec North America.
So let me just start off by asking, when did you first interact with AHS? How did you learn about AHS?
So we had a number of consulting partners that brought AHS to the table. It's just you guys as an integrator that would fit in with the project and our culture and be a good partner to explore technologies.
Perfect. So once you were introduced to AHS, how did you learn about the Exotec Skypod system?
So we were working through, we launched a facility in Fort Worth, Texas about 2 years ago now. And we were looking at different big technologies, goods persons. AHS brought Exotec to the table as one of the options. We looked at a couple of them just as a comparison to make sure we had the right technology, and Exotec went out there.
Perfect. So John, being from Exotec, tell us a little bit about how you were able to work with AHS on this project. What are some of the challenges we were able to work through for Ariat?
Yeah, I think some of the challenges we were working through is pick rate at the station, things like that, making sure that we had process flow understood on the front end so that we can tailor a design. Everything's very modular here, but once you get to the floor level with stuff, you got to kind of do the extra little bit of lead work, making sure that we're dialing it in for the customers.
Perfect. Thank you, John. So let's talk a little bit about the project. Ariat has deployed a Skypod system with AHS and Exotec. So tell us a little bit about how the project started, the timeline of the project, and how well it's went so far.
I'm hazy on time right here, but I'd say we're about 12 months now since we inked the deal. We went live, or we're partially live here, worked through some bugs, probably about 3 weeks ago. And in that time, I think we started construction early November, so probably about 4 months to stand up the racking for 75,000 bins. I think the deployment of the picking side of it, the stations, all of that, I think that was a matter of weeks to get that installed on the grounds. It went out, absolutely quickly. Seems like they're just out there just plugging it in. It wasn't much in the way of, I'd say, field wiring and all that type of things.
A lot of the work that I was part of was about 6 months before we actually put it uprights. So some of the challenges that AHS really helped us with was our floor survey was kind of a bit of a fiasco because our floor was too clean. So the laser showed a lot of issues that didn't exist, so working through that. And then we actually redesigned fire suppression from what Exotec wanted to do originally, which was a little bit of a hurdle, but we got through it, saved about $300,000 on that. But kind of just redesigning some of the stuff, working with them, and Exotec finally got on board with us on some of our crazy ideas, which they really wanted to stick to it, but AHS really worked with the team, so it worked out pretty well.
So now your system's going live, right? So what are the challenges that you're facing in your supply chain that the Skypod system will help you, whether it's in your overall supply chain or within the facility? How do you believe that's going to assist you?
So we have a huge SKU base, and we service every customer. We don't put a lot of constraints on our customers. So having the ability to quickly access a lot of SKUs, do all those combinations quickly, to pick any type of order every day at any moment, I think is setting us up well for success here going forward. I think with everybody, we've got inventory challenges, so we have to be able to be flexible day in, day out as things are coming in. Customers are asking different things of us from the service side and the inventory side, and have something that we can load and pick from at the rate we can with the Exotec system. I think it's setting us up well for the next year.
Perfect. So John, of all the customers that we're working on, you're working with, we're working together, how does Ariat's story go along with everybody else that you're talking to? Some of the similar challenges and really how they're solving them with the Skypod system. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, to Matt's point about the large SKU base, we're seeing that sweet spot that our technology really does a good job of solving. So it solved it well for them, like you're seeing over and over again, Zach, right? Where you have a relatively large storage need to the actual throughput need, and then you dial in those robots, right? And you're not really having to shuffle around like some other technology, so you still got all the speed that you could want to do hot picks and use the same day. If you want to switch to omni-channel, e-com, it's flexible in that regard, so you're future-proofing yourself, and so it makes sense now, makes sense in the future, and we're seeing it all over the place. That's the evolution that we're seeing in the supply chain, right? So we're just telling that story once more.
Perfect. Thank you, John. So now that the system is operational, right, how is your operations team working with the system? How long did it take them to get them trained up? How well are they adapting to this technology versus maybe manual picking or other types of technology?
So it's quick. I mean, I was out there for the day one of the induct, and we went through, I think, every day and had somebody new working on the system on the induct side, and I think within a matter of hours, they were up to, historically, we see learning curves of weeks with this system. We're talking about hours. On the pick side, similar story. You step up, sign in, and it's very visual, very easy for the associates to see what I need to press, quantities, all the actions is laid out really nicely for them. And it's also, with any good dispersal system, bad way to say this, but having your associate captive in an area so that you can see what they're doing. You have the ability to check in on them, work with them, help them with any questions. That's just another part of any good dispersal technology.
The other part the opposite of is the ability to do the inventory right there at the pick station. They can do a spot check anytime. So it's pretty good for us.
So, now that you have the system, you're through temporary acceptance, you're working towards final acceptance. As Matt said, they're working out some final bugs, those types of things. What is the future for Ariat with the Skypod system?
I thought about it that way. I mean, it's for us, it's all about the service. So we envision this as a piece of the overall equation on the facility we launched this in. Which we call the hub of our operations. So it's just going to allow us to continue to elevate our service. I mean, our goal is to be on the leading edge of service for our customers and our peers. And I think this is one of those tools that's going to allow us to get there.
Do you have any plans to expand storage, robots, those types of things, and maybe talk to a little bit about how we've been able, and you don't have to give details, but talk a little bit about how easy it is to look at that, how easy it is to plan for that, and how easy it is to add more robots, those types of things, as you look to go forward in the future?
Yeah, so the overall project has been going on a year. I think we got about 6 months into it, so I hadn't even started construction. And as a company, we started evaluating our business a little bit deeper, and a couple of variables had changed. And it was really easy to come back to the team here and say, hey, we're looking at a change in what direction we're going here. So we're in that conversation now about expanding robots at pick stations, and given the timeline for delivery of that is pretty quick, so we're excited about that. We were midway through the project and we added workstations. Still working on the equation for the bots and what we're going to do there. From the storage perspective, we haven't looked at that any further, but we've got some space dedicated. We know we've got that flexibility here down the road that we can absolutely expand the system when we get to that point.
Perfect. Josiah, anything to add?
Just not necessarily that point, but to brag on something. If anyone in the audience is like more the maintenance side or implementer, like have to actually take care of everything. One really cool thing that our maintenance team loves is the box going around and checking all the dimensions for the locations. So instead of us having to physically find the issue, we're getting a report daily, and we have one robot that's its job right now. It's just checking all the dimensions and get a report that we know exactly where to go. So it's nice to have an automated system like that where you're not physically shutting down the system and go do any kind of maintenance checks.
That's a great point, Josiah. Thank you for bringing that up. So, John, a question for you. So you heard Matt talk about the opportunity to add more stations in flight during the project, the potential to add more robots. Maybe you could highlight that a little bit more, some of the things that Exotec is doing to be able to be more scalable and more flexible, even beyond what they are today.
Yeah, the process is painless for me. It comes across my desk and it leaves it right away. It's wonderful. In the past, a change order could mean all kinds of re-engineering work. And really, like Matt said, we just need to do some math and figure out, all right, how many robots do you need? Add a big station here, add a big station to the back or front. You make up your mind. And so change orders are a breeze. We love it.
How quickly, just real quick, how quickly are you guys looking to add robots? So if Matt wanted to add robots, right, how quickly could you bring more robots and add into the system? Because I think that's a great point to highlight.
Yeah. So 12 weeks, we have robots on site. So it's on the fly while you're operating, inject through click. It's that flexible.
Perfect. Thank you, John. So, kind of just in wrapping everything up, are there any final things that Josiah, you or Matt would want to bring up and just tell the crowd about your experience with AHS or your experience with Exotec or any of the things that we have not highlighted so far?
Just the partnership overall has been great, but something that's ongoing is Exotec partnership with the maintenance for the robot itself. We can get a robot off the dock and it could be working in about an hour. And Exotec's really good with the support. If we're running anything, we have a guy on site there. And just again, from a maintenance perspective, it's nice to have that kind of support. We're not calling and waiting and trying to figure something out. We have someone on site, and everything so far has been able to be resolved within 30 minutes to an hour.
I'd say, we talked about we're working through the last couple of bugs here. It's really exciting how quickly we can scale support because Exotec's ability to dial in, see what's going on with any bot in the system. It's been exciting that, the bug we find today, there's 10 people in an hour who can have their eyes on the problem and looking at the diagnostics of it. I'd say generally overall, the project and the partnership has been great. Ongoing conversations with Exotec, but it's been great to work with AHS to really just guide us through that process in the project, and has really handled a lot of things for us to make this go smoothly, and I think it's been a great project.
Perfect. One other highlight, just real quick, and I didn't bring this up at the beginning, how many projects had you done with AHS prior to this project?
We have not. This is the first one. So
we're building a brand new partnership with a brand new technology, and I think that's really important to highlight too as well, that with the technology and just really our AHS's capabilities to work with a partner and build the partnership, I think is one thing to really talk about and really celebrate between Ariat, AHS, and Exotec. So thank you very much for coming to the Fireside Chat.